You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
Together we are
Raw
Break. How's every single one of you, family? Welcome to the AEW Full Gear 2021 official review. And we just watch a little great pay-per-view. Pretty long though. That's the one thing that these shows are extremely long. You gotta your attention span probably don't last the full 4.5 hours. But despite that, great matches. Some of them there were some botches. But finally, we have a brand new AEW champion. Something that Jean Paul already predicted months in advance. He said that as soon as Kenny Omega became the AEW champion. So Paul, your thoughts on this AEW? Full Gear.
Yeah, I mean, I have the same problem with Impact pay-per-views I have with AEW. Same thing you said. Way too long. A couple of these matches, which I'll mention each individual match if, the ones I think shouldn't have been on the pay-per-view. And I think if you would have cut all them, the show would have been, a good 3 hours long and it would have been a lot better. But overall, AEW, they really know how to make the fans feel excited. That doesn't just feel, I'm going to a WWE show. No, we're going to a wrestling show. This feels awesome. It feels like a big spectacle. Feels like a big deal. The fans were into it the whole night for the most part. This was good. I liked it. AEW always delivers on the pay-per-views.
Exactly. So we're going to be talking about absolutely everything. Thank you one more time. Keep subscribing. We have SmackDown, the review from yesterday. Roman Reigns is now the king of WWE. So, of course, it's the show, the quality is going down. But, despite that, watch the review, have fun with us, talk about wrestling. So let's do that. And the buy-in, this started out this show is actually at 7:30, at half hour before actually the main card. And that was Nyla Rose with Jamie Hayter going against Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida. This is just because these four girls are going to be in the semifinals of the TBS Championship. The Hater is going to go against Thunder Rosa, and also Nyla Rose is going to go to Hikaru Shida, a match that is very familiar. We've seen it so many times. And in the end, it was a pretty decent match. We got to see Serena Deeb. The feud also continues with her. So I think she's going to play a role in what's going to happen at the semifinal. But in the end, Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa got the win. And the one thing is Vicky Guerrero, absolutely obnoxious on the outside. Kept yelling and yelling and yelling, so that completely took me out of the match. But despite that, a pretty nice counter from Hikaru Shida. Then she did a pinning combination, a jackknife, combination to get the win. And the girls get this opportunity, and this is just to get the people hot. Then for the main show.
And that's really all it was. I agree with pretty much everything you said. Just. They also got Tony Khan's the same way like WWE used to be, where it's we got to feature everybody on all the pay-per-views. Everybody, can't leave anybody off, and that's what this was. But I would have rather seen one of the other matches, maybe Cody Rhodes or the Young Bucks, or one of those useless matches that shouldn't have been on the pay-per-view, should have been on the buy-in. But it is what it is.
Exactly. So these girls got the win, baby faces. So now let's actually talk about what happened at AEW Full Gear, the main show, and that started with Darby Allin against MJF. Exactly, the pillars, two of the four pillars of AEW are the only superstars that really have been built, or they feel AEW's own. So what do you think about this match? A lot of good action. The only thing that always takes me away, Paul, is the fact that Sting makes it's kind of the safer Darby Allin, but in the end, at least we got the right winner here.
Yeah, and I mean the Sting coming out and all that, it obviously played it to the finish, but at least it worked into MJF's favor. But this whole match was great. They started off wrestling, counters and everything. Then eventually it got heated. It got into big moves. Darby hits his dive so good. He comes at you like a bullet, but he hits you. It looks legit. And, the big thing here was when MJF hit a pile driver on the apron. Darby was done, but MJF also hurt his knee. So then Darby would go after the knees and everything. So that was a big selling point for MJF. But, I mean, this match was great. The Canadian Destroyer or the Code Red, MJF kicked out right at the last second. It was pretty much roll up, lots of stuff. Eventually, you saw the chairman, Sean Spears, Wardlow coming out. Sting makes the save. Everybody
Sting takes care of both of them. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, it was fine because of, like I said, what it led into. It was bullshit, but because they should be able to beat up a 60-some-year-old man. But regardless, it led into everybody being distracted. MJF, he was able to use the ring. He hit Darby Allin, and he said, I'd be able to pin you with just I forget what he said the wrestling hold was. but he
was
just
just, it was just like I think it was like not even a roll up, but it was just like it's not a dragon screw, but
yeah,
it was
he was it was just like a headlock or like
yeah,
a
it was just a
yeah,
headlock. That's what it
yeah,
was. It was
he
just a
just had him
headlock.
in like a headlock takeover, and he just had him pinned while in the headlock 1, 2, 3 because obviously he punched Darby Allin with the ring and cheated. So MJF gets the win here. He needed the win because who is your champion? Spoiler alert: a babyface is now your champion. You got to start building up heels. That's why MJF was perfect to win. Hangman's another one of those pillars, I would say. So, this is one, or he was named as one of the pillars. So, I mean,
Yes.
this was a great way to start the show. So,
It was a good match. It was, and solidifies MJF that needed it. Darby doesn't need the win because he's just popular. And and it doesn't matter whether he wins or loses, like the popularity is going to stay the same. So that was fine for him. So we got to see Team Taz, just on the Raptors. I don't know what was going on with that. It's like, oh, we're not featured on the car, so we just
how come we couldn't even get in the pre-show match?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, the booking for Tony Khan cannot be 100%. I guess he's the best booker of 2020. We'll see what the best booker of 2021 is. But they were just standing in the Raptors, just analyzing the show, future opponent and stuff like that. Let's go for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, and that's FTR. They are the AAA Tag Team Champions going against the Lucha Bros. This was actually also great match, and we thought that FTR was going to win just because of the build-up, the way that FTR has been acting up, like they've been even the more relevant. They've been acting more important than lately. But the Lucha Bros finally get a convincing win, and this is for me like the first defense that actually made sense, because the other ones it was just the Acclaim teams that are not in the same level of this guy.
The Butcher and the Blade, all that kind of bullshit.
Exactly.
No, I agree with you. And FTR, they can lead these guys to a fantastic match, and that's exactly what they did. The taunting was great in between these guys, and they sell for the Lucha Bros so good, and the Lucha Brothers can sell for them good. And even though it's a clash of styles, they mix so well. I'm not gonna complain about the normal stuff I do with the Lucha Bros.
All of that.
Because I do like them. Even though I do my complaints, I do like them. They're really exciting. Everything. I love the entrance.
Shades of Eddie Guerrero, because today was the anniversary of his death, if he's passing, unfortunately. But that's what everything, the whole show was surrounded about Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
So,
and I love Alex too. He's so great in his role here with them. And the only thing that kind of confused me a little bit as it was going down, but then as everything was going on, I was thinking about it, like, no, this makes sense. They try to do like the old, like Jim Ross even brought up the Killer Bees angle, where it's like, oh no, that's the wrong one who got pinned and everything. But because they put on the mask, but the ref didn't see it, so he counted the wrong guy out. Even though 1, 2, 3. So FTR technically didn't lose because it was the wrong guy, but because they both had masks on, the ref couldn't tell, so he thought it was. So now this is a perfect way, like you said, the Lucha Bros get a good convincing win. They can move on, but the feud continues with them and FTR, and I think FTR will get their match and eventually win the tag belts. I'm not saying it'll be, in a couple weeks, but I think they're going to get another shot at the Lucha Bros.
Yeah, it could possibly happen, but like you said, a great show. Red Phoenix, Penta. Of course, like FTR has, like you said, the different styles, but at least here we got to see the Lucha Bros beating somebody credible, and it's not more like a lock. That's what happened with the Young Bucks.
Phoenix,
at all out.
And when Phoenix, when he hits his moves, because he's known to botch. But when he hits his moves, man, everything he does looks so good.
Yes, exactly. And this time he played a little more safer than usual, because, like you said, he's very known for getting injured because he goes all the way full force and everything. So let's go with the next one. So far the show was absolutely great, and there's the finals of the #1 contender tournament for the AEW Championship, and this is Miro and Bryan Danielson. We've said it throughout the weeks of build, with everything that happened with Jon Moxley. The Miro should have won this tournament. Why? Because of everybody knows how hot he is. Even Cornette now is absolutely in love with Miro. Like the verbiage that he says, everything that the promo that he's delivering is absolutely amazing. Even Bryan Danielson was like, I never beat this guy. And now that he knows who he is, it's going to be even more difficult. So this was good, but in the end, the ending was a little botch, and the wrong winner here.
Yeah, I mean the wrong winner, and the match went too long for me. I mean, I thought it was good. I thought it was kind of even, but it's like, okay, eventually, I thought Miro was going to take over. Maybe Danielson, maybe the whole thing, it was, Miro's neck. Maybe that, they were going to sell Danielson's neck, but they never did. They know I don't even know if they ever sold Danielson's neck since he's been to AEW.
No, they have not touched a point on that.
Yeah,
no.
I was gonna say they don't sell the neck at all.
No.
Or WWE, that was like everything he did. They sold the neck, but here it was just mostly about Miro. Danielson was going after it. They're fighting on the outside and everything. I mean, it was good. This is when they kind of lost me. When it was like, oh, you kick me, I'll kick you,
Yeah.
And
when they went for like who's the strongest out of the two.
And Danielson did that in the Minoru Suzuki match and all that, and it lost me there too. I mean, I just think it's stupid. I think it's such a you wouldn't do that in a real fight. That's the most bullshit thing ever. So I mean, it just kills all credibility for me. But
and also like remember at this point, like the game over, he already put the log in. And,
as soon as Danielson got out of the game over too, that was another thing. It's like
that was game over for us.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, do I really see him locking it in again to get the win? No. Do I see a Machka kick or anything putting him away? No. So you kind of knew Danielson was going to win here, and he goes for a tornado DDT, kind of botches it, and then he kind of jumps up, does another DDT, but it looks funny, and he gets this headlock. Aubrey's like, oh,
we never saw the top, so
yeah.
The angle. Like, that's the angle that we had it, so we never seen it happen.
Yeah, so I mean, I really don't know. Maybe Miro's going to say, "Oh, it's bullshit. He wants another match just to have a feud with Danielson or something." But this, to me, with what we know who won the main event, is a little weird to see two baby faces. Like I said, unless you're going to turn Danielson heel, because he was a heel in Ring of Honor and stuff, I believe a little bit. So I mean, you can have him be heel. So I don't know. I like to see that, but we got to see what they do moving forward.
Yes, like the one thing is just like the ending, the botch completely took me out of it, because the tornado DDT, I was like, okay, this match is going to continue. Probably something will happen. No,
if he would have hit the tornado DDT and Miro kind of would have got to his feet and he would have hit like the running knee and then put him in that lock, then I would have been like, okay,
it makes sense. But like they didn't do it. Hopefully Miro's fine. We'll get more reports, we'll get more news, we'll be sharing with every single one of you as we get them. But hopefully everything was fine. So let's move to the next one, because we have more content for you guys. Falls Count Anywhere. The Young Bucks and Adam Cole, the Super Clique, going against Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage. This was actually not bad, because they understood the importance of the match, and also like they was going to be on the outside. So everybody came out actually with like jeans, stuff like that. They were not, oh yeah, we're going to wrestle. No, they understood that the violence, the levels of aggression and everything is going to be really high. So like they prepared for it. And what do you think? For me, it was pretty decent.
I mean, it was all right. It was way too, again, after seeing all these other matches and then this, it was, I knew we had the street fight coming up, so I knew that was going to have toys, tables, chairs, trash cans, kendo sticks, everything like that. And then the Young Bucks probably thought, man, we don't want to be outdone by them, so now we got to make because their match was just because it's Falls Count Anywhere doesn't mean it's no DQ. You can use all toys and everything else. So they just added that stipulation because they wanted to do it first. That's the only thing I could think. And I don't know. I really couldn't get into this because I really don't care about this feud. I mean, Adam Cole, when he did his spot where he looks down and then points up and everybody goes, Adam Cole, baby. That, to me, it felt like when you saw Jake the Snake Roberts at that Legends of Wrestling and he was so drunk and he fell over. I'm like, when in NXT, that felt so legit. Here, it's like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's like you're not legit anymore. When you and Fish and all them break off and form the Undisputed Era, then you'll feel legit again. But to me, I mean, yeah, guys getting thrown through tables, all this stuff, it was good. But then there was spots where everybody stood there and got dove on as they held the trash can. And it happened to every single person. Or they got super kicked in the face while holding a trash can. You saw this with the last shot, with the spike knee pad and everything. I mean, it was just so much stuff to take in. How can you even remember it all? You're going to forget 90% of it tomorrow. And I mean, the baby faces won. The baby faces won, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Right
here, because
he did the
concerto.
That's right.
Like the moonsault on some of them, and so Adam Cole got to choke slam. And then you get to see the concerto on one of the Young Bucks. But
what do you do with what happened in the main event? Because I mean, it's a spoiler and it's our show. I don't care. I'll say what I want. With the Young Bucks, the way that they kind of gave Hangman the nod and all that at the end, and it was just them. You didn't see Adam Cole, nothing. Do you think the Elite's kind of splitting up? Do you think they're done? Do you think maybe you're going to see Adam Cole break off because they lost here in this match?
We'll see.
Adam Cole, because Adam Cole and the Bucks were supposed to be so great, and they lose here. I mean, maybe we're going to see the Elite split up. Kenny Omega does his own thing. Adam Cole forms, the Undisputed Era or whatever they call them, because they have to have a new name. WWE.
They will probably have to have a new name.
And then
yes.
maybe you see the Bucks and Kevin Steen team up for a little bit, because he'll be coming soon. So who knows?
Yeah, it could be, but there's a variety of possibilities.
But this is one of the match. But all in all, so we can move on. This is a match I would not have had on the show. This was not worthy of a pay-per-view. I don't think anybody really cared.
Yeah, I feel like like they want to build Jungle Boy. That's the one thing. I think all these matches are building up Jungle Boy.
But to me, this could have been a main event of a Dynamite, and it would have had just the same effect.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been. So, like, I know, for example, the one that we're going to talk about right now, I would not have in the pay-per-view. And this is Pac and Cody Rhodes tag team match against Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo. I would not have this.
Especially the winner.
Especially because who won, how it won the match, and also, like, you're just burying one more time Andrade. I don't know how you can be such a talented wrestler and be okay with the way that you lose all the time. And always on pay-per-views and always in, like, main event situations, you just are okay losing. I don't care.
Andrade and Malachi Black are two guys that, to be honest, maybe they feel like that the feuds they're involved in are more legit, but in all honesty, they're not presented any more legit in AEW than they were in WWE.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean WWE, they were mid cards, mid card champion, or tag team champion, NXT champions, all this stuff, and it's like. But here, it's not like they're going after Omega or, they're going after CM Punk. It's like,
and at this rate, they will never go against Omega.
and in this, I thought, okay, Cody or Pac's going to get pinned. Maybe we're going to see a feud out of this. Maybe they're going to be like pissed off at each other, because to me, Pac and Cody teaming up was just a one match thing. This was leading into a feud or something like that. But then to see Pac get the win and the babyfaces win, I'm like, what was the whole point of this? The heels look so lost in this. And I mean, again, this was another match.
Andrade especially.
This was another match. I'm watching it, and all four guys are so legit. If you're just going off pure wrestling skill alone, are so good. But it was a match I couldn't get into. The first three matches, they had me. And then I saw the fourth match, and I was just done with the show for a while. It took me until CM Punk and Eddie Kingston to really get back into the show, to be honest with you.
There you go. I feel that
from the last match on.
This is just the problem is, like you say, it was put together really quick, and also, for example, we know that, like, Cody doesn't need the win. Pac possibly needs the win, but, like, again, Malachi and El Idolo or Andrade, like, they need to just have wins because they're brand new guys. They was just in the beginning of. They're not like the ones that like founded AEW.
This feud shouldn't be happening. This Malachi should have beat Cody a third time.
Yes,
he should have moved on to something else. And this should have just been Malachi Black versus Pac. If you wanted to have these guys on to have 1-versus-1.
And that should have been a lot better that way. And also Almas, he beat Cody on Dynamite, but this is when you need the win on paper.
Yeah,
that is when you need to put over.
Yeah, this. So was
and
bad.
They have this thing that FTR was attacking them, so they kind of have a whole groove and stuff like that. Like you said, it's not good. And again, Almas one more time dropped out, and it just sucks for him because he needs more wins if he's gonna be actually a name. And if he doesn't care, if he's just going to go into AAA and just be the champion there, that's fine. He wants to be jumped out here. Hey, we feel for the guy. If he doesn't feel for himself, that's his own, problem.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about the AEW World Heavyweight Championship when it comes on the girls. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD against Tay Conti. The build for this was decent. I mean, the video package, they tried to like sell that like Tay Conti is like such a powerful force in the wrestler. What did you think of the match? Because I will tell you, up to like the end, Tay did really decent. She's not the greatest wrestler right in the world right now, but at least the holds that she does. Britt Baker's getting there as a general. It's not the greatest matches in the world, but like for a second, you could think that Tay was gonna win. For a second.
Yeah, I mean, and it helps. She has the fan support and everything. And no, I mean, I agree with you, but again, from just the last two matches, I was just not into it. I was watching it. And I'm like, this is pretty good. But again, there's not a snowball's chance in hell that Tay Conti was going to win this match.
Yeah.
We all knew that. And, unfortunately, we all know wrestling's fake. If wrestling was legit and this was like UFC, then all these matches would be a lot more interesting. But unfortunately, they're not. We all know who's going to win. So, it was good. But Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, she gets the win. I don't think anybody is surprised here. I mean, we're all just waiting for Thunder Rosa. I really think that's the thing. But, what we see her in the TBS Championship Finals and all that stuff, I really don't know. So we got to see what they do next for the Doctor. But this was pretty good. It was good to see Ty Conti get a pay-per-view, opportunity. Yeah. So, I mean, it's the same thing I feel like with Liv Morgan. It's good to have these, even if they're not going to win it, build them up and let them have an opportunity at the pay-per-view.
Yes. So, there was a lot of opportunity. She did all her arsenal. She did like all her holds, like like the super kick, the DDT, all of that. Like she did like the knees that like I guess was one of her finishers. The one thing is like another botch finish here, because we did not know what was really happening. So like that's the only thing. And Britt Baker again is not quite there yet. I mean, character-wise she is, but like when it comes to like ring ability, I've seen also her matches with Abaddon, like some main matches that she's had. Like there's a little bit of like mistakes right there, but in the end she keeps the championship. And like you said, Thunder Rosa, or maybe they bring ever Diana Perazzo, if they bring ever like also older girls. We'll see what happens. But you said you got back with this match. This was good, and Eddie Kingston actually comes out of this way hotter than when he got it.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie Kingston, the line that they even said in the match, when it was over, not that I always say to jump to the end, just to jump back, but they said at the end of it, Eddie Kingston had plenty of times to maybe put CM Punk away in this match, but he wasn't worried about pinning him. He just wanted to kick CM Punk's ass. And you saw this, it was Punk was trying to wrestle him, maybe even toy with him, screw with him. Kingston gets pissed off. They start fighting. Then they go to the outside, and then Punk realizes, man, I'm in a fight. I got to start fighting this guy. I can't wrestle him. Then Punk gets into it and gets fired up, and they start going at it. And this was good. And, he hits the go to sleep, but he can't cover him. And then, they keep fighting and all this. It built this drama. It definitely, like you said, it made Kingston feel so good. And this is one of the matches where, to counter my point to what I said the last match, we knew Kingston wasn't going to win here. But this was one you still liked, you still enjoyed, because this was one it was like maybe, because there was no title on the line. So this was easier to maybe pull the swerve. They didn't do it. Like they said, Kingston, what the hell's going on? Does he even know he lost? But no, they were called the personality, which I heard on the radio today. So I knew CM Punk was going to win this match. But,
exactly.
I mean,
but the one thing also like
still good.
To go to sleep.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, because the first one he couldn't make the cover. This one, that's what it took. Great picture right there. I mean, this was good. I want to see what they do with Eddie Kingston here. And, with CM Punk, too, because they said, hey, CM Punk, he had to, maybe go, not to use like Edge terminology quotes here, but like he had to go to this place, in himself to beat Eddie Kingston here like this. And, you got to think, is CM Punk still going to come out and be the babyface? Oh, John Moxley, shaking hands,
my
kissing
body,
babies, all this stuff. Or is he going to come out and maybe have a little bit more of an attitude after this match? We really got to wait and see, because again, you got to start either turning or start, promoting a lot more heels.
And right there, look, like also like I want to say like the ring attire of CM Punk different. Like he's trying other things, so I like that kind of like a boxer. With like the long.
Yeah, or like MMA fighter, almost like a little bit like
Samoa. He probably doesn't want to rember those days.
Is that Samoa Joe there with the shorts?
With like Samoa Joe diaper, but like he went from like sportsmanship. Hey, dude, I'd beat you. Like we were supposed to. So like Eddie Kingston's like fuck you. It's like, oh, fuck off. I don't need to see this. So this was good, like you said. CM Punk taking Eddie Kingston to these levels. Eddie Kingston is ready. Maybe not a lot of people know who he is because he's more indie, regardless of what you can say. I mean, John Moxley did the same thing.
The thing I'll say, though, is, I mean, not that AEW has millions and millions of viewers, but the people who watch this show, if they didn't know who he is, they know who he, like, before AEW started, they know who he is now, and they like him. I think everybody who watches this show is a fan of him.
Now imagine the chance, because it was like actually more people were chanting for Eddie Kingston than for CM Punk in Minneapolis. So that tells you.
I mean, if you were asking me, again, if this was a shoot fight, who do I want to see win? Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston, yes, because CM Punk, if he understands wrestling, if there's somebody that understands wrestling, it's CM Punk. So probably he wanted to lose. But like Tony Khan was like, no, not yet. Maybe they do another match, maybe something. But at least Eddie Kingston is looking so hot right now. Like you said, this would be the time that maybe you go for the TNT Championship. You do something with the guy. Give him reward the guy. And he's actually producing great work, great matches. Same thing with Miro. So it's not a casualty or anything like that. So let's move on with the next one. This was just bad. This is just the stuff that again, you said we don't need this type of stuff. Minneapolis Street match, the Inner Circle going against Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and American Top Team. I didn't care for this. I will when you say this kind of things, I didn't care for this match. I gotta say the same thing in this match, just because. Again, they're MMA fighters. They're guys that within the punch, they can end you. And they can end you bad. And the fact that they had to sell for this is just, is a wrong mix here. You just don't do things like this, so I didn't care for it. I mean, Santana and Ortiz, they're always put on, the face paint, good matches and everything. And it was just a show to make Jericho look good. And I love Le Champion, but
I love when he fucked up the Lion Salt. I hate Jericho. I hate these matches he comes up with. This match coming on after the Young Bucks had their match made this feel completely pointless. And at this point in the show, you just wanted to see the main event, not because you just wanted it to be over, but because it's okay, I saw every other match I really cared about. I want to just see
this
the main
was at
event.
least decent, for the Von Erichs.
Yeah, I mean Von Raschke, you mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They're doing the claw and everything.
Yeah.
But that to me just solidified this match as being a joke gimmick.
Oh,
because he wouldn't have done that in the main event. He wouldn't have did that in MJF versus Darby Allin. They did it in this match because this is the gimmick match. This was so shitty. I didn't care. This again was just Jericho to get his win over Dan Lambert, and he's like, oh, look at me, my feud, but let me just bury all these heels and these credible, legit MMA guys. So, this completely sucked. There's to me nothing good from this.
Oh no, I agree, and because also we understand it's Eddie Guerrero, we understand, and again, but you have to make the show evolve around Eddie Guerrero when the guy never even wrestled for the WWE.
And he does the frog splash, and then he's like, oh,
that's what I mean. No, thank you. I will say, I've said this many times. I'm a big fan, but it's the time for you to be go and do your shows, step away. They don't need you on the show. I've said this so many times. They don't need you. Be out for 6 months.
You know what would have been? You know what would have been cool if you would have had, maybe just not this match and not any of those other 2 matches on the show that we talked about. And right here, you had Sammy Guevara defending his TNT title.
The TNT Championship. Yeah, exactly.
Because ever since he won it, it became an afterthought. That belt should still be on Miro.
You go with me, exactly. Miro defends, after defense, and also Fuego del Sol, Lars Archer, Kingston, good. The title actually means something. No, he goes to him. But, really quick, actually, they tried to make it feel semi-decent because after this, we know that Jay Lethal is going to be one of the first Ring of Honor signees now on AEW, and then he challenged Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship, and this is going to happen on Dynamite. I'm excited to see Jay Lethal finally in a promotion that is going to be nationwide and even worldwide. So we'll see what he can do. Is he at the right age? Maybe a little later.
I love when Shivani called him a young man. He's like, let me introduce this young man. He's like, Jay Lethal. I'm like, well, maybe young to Shivani. But no, I mean, I agree with you. I like this. The only thing I don't like about it is how many times do they have to debut guys challenging for the TNT title and they lose. Eddie Kingston debuted, lost his first match. You had
Ricky Starks.
Yeah, Ricky Starks debuted, lost his first match. Yes. Bobby Fish debuted, lose his first match. Now it's gonna be Jay Lethal. So it's like, come on, stop. Can these guys debut? I mean, unless there's gonna
let the guy debut and win.
Unless there's going to be an upset, which I doubt. But, I mean, this is good. I like this with Jay Lethal. This will be cool. Lots of interesting, really good matchups we can see from him here in AEW. And, I'm excited for this.
It's gonna be good. And fine, like I said, I just want to see what he's able to do on the nationwide level. Because we know AJ Lethal from the days of Impact. Ring of Honor, he was producing great matches, great stuff. But right now, because of the situation with Ring of Honor, we're gonna see the debut of many people. And like you said, Tony Khan has the money, so hey, okay, come in. And then we were waiting for Bray Wyatt, that didn't happen. We were waiting for maybe Lana, that didn't happen either. Jay Lethal, So there you go. At least we got something. So let's go now to the main event, and finally this was just like a what 11:10, 11:15 or something like that, and for Kenny Omega against Adam Hangman Page for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and there was a lot of rumors that there was going to be a new champion. And you said this is like Adam Hangman Page is going to be the guy that's going to dethrone Kenny Omega after almost a year. So
the only thing I didn't get, I gave him a little too much credit. I said he was going to kick out of the One-Winged Angel, and there was a point in the match right towards the end where he had him up for the One-Winged Angel, and I thought Omega was going to hit it, but then Hangman kind of slid out in the back, and I'm like, oh, he's going to hit it, and Hangman's going to kick out, but no, he didn't actually hit it. No, this match, it was good. In the beginning, you saw the aggression from these guys, and they built up to this stuff. They built up to going to the outside, to the big spots, to the moonsault on the outside, like you had the picture there. Hangman jumped off and everything. Don Callis got involved a little bit in the beginning, but like the involvement from everybody wasn't too bad. Oh yeah, here you have this where he dives off the ring post, does like a clothesline into the table. And what did you think of the match?
It was good.
I thought it was good.
I'll tell you a few things now. Like the one thing is like this is already 11:15, so everybody's tired. We just want this to over. We want to this fast forward to the last moments of the match, and it's like, okay, if he's gonna win, give me the new champion. And also you can tell not only by me, not only by you. We're not just saying it for saying it. We're just saying it because like the crowd was like, it's not the same as like MJF, CM Punk. It's like. Yeah. It's just, it's way too late. But other than that, the match was good. I like, the fact that like Adam Hangman Page did the One-Winged Angel on Kenny Omega. Of course, that would have been, the worst way of like winning, degrading thing for Kenny Omega, but at least he kicked out. And then they sold that. It's like, oh, maybe Kenny knows how like to kick out of the move because he's the owner of the move. He created it. So that was good, Don Callis, like, he played a factor, but not in the dimension, not in the same capacity that he usually does.
Hangman went for the buckshot, but he accidentally took out the ref.
Yes.
Then Don Callis came in like this, and Hangman took out Callis. Then Omega had the belt, but he hit the dead eye on Omega. Then Aubrey comes out, 1, 2, oh, he kicks out, a bunch of V-triggers, everything. That's when, then he set up Hangman for the One-Winged Angel, but he got out. And then eventually, boom, he hits a big buckshot. I think that was after the One-Winged Angel that he hit on Omega, and he hit a buckshot, and the Bucks came out. And you're like, oh man, what's going on here? And they kind of looked at him. They didn't do anything. He hit the one buckshot. He went to the other side of the ring. He set it up. Matt Jackson was looking at him, and he gave him a nod. Kind of just like, go ahead. I ain't going to stop you. Not like, do it. Like, yeah, like in there, yee. Not like team up. It was just like, hey man, go ahead. Like,
if you're supposed to win it, this is the chance. Yeah, let's have it fair and square.
And boom, yep, he hit him, pinned him 1, 2, 3. You see him celebrating, and see, this is where I thought, I'm like, don't do an Austin thing where it's like, oh, we turn him heel. We didn't see that. Omega kind of, got out of the ring and whatever. You see the Dark Order come out. I'm like, are we gonna see Rotunda here? Are we gonna see, is Bray Wyatt gonna, whoever you want to call him, is he gonna show up here with the Dark Order or something? No, we don't see that. They come in the ring, and I thought they were going to be done with the beers, but, because of Jon Moxley, maybe a little sensitive. Nope. They come out with the beer. He smacks it away. He's like, no drinking because of Moxley. Come on, let's not be bullshit. He gives them all a hug, and, they hoist him up and everything. We see them celebrating, and, that's how really the show goes off the air. So, they gave you that feel-good moment. Legit for Hangman. Like I said, he's been one of my favorites, I wouldn't say he's my favorite because of the way they portrayed him a little bit, but he's definitely still one of my favorites. I'm glad to see him win. And to me, the most interesting thing is, where does all the guys from the Elite go? Mostly just Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, and Omega. I could care less about, Nakazawa and the Good Brothers and all those other guys. But overall, besides those matches, like we said, the two, garbage tag team matches. And I guess technically they're all tag team. The street fight, the street fight, the Falls Count Anywhere, and then the regular tag match. You take those 3 out of the show, and I think you have a pretty good pay-per-view.
It would have been. I'll give it a thumbs up regardless, just because.
Definitely,
you have a brand new champion, because this should have been, if you think about it, Paul, this should have been the picture when AEW was first started. This should
No,
have been the picture.
I was fine with Jericho because
Because
Jericho was the biggest
remember,
name.
he was like, before Jericho, Hangman Page was slated to win the AEW championship against Pac. That was supposed to be the main match. Remember, that was supposed to be Double or Nothing. But remember, Pac couldn't make it, and they had to switch it up, and then they made it a number one contender, and then they made it main event Omega and Jericho. So this has been in the works ever since AEW started. So finally came to fruition, 2 years later? That's fine. And you actually mentioned this. Omega puts the title away. Hey, and that's when you just get away from, can you give Kenny Omega a break? 2 months. The guy probably has, even he says in the promo, I have so many injuries. Nobody can keep up with my schedule. I gotta go to Mexico. I gotta go defend here. I gotta go and defend there. The year that he's had, remember, Impact World Champion, all these matches, the guy needs a break. Let him go, and so people can miss him. And then maybe, like you said, you play that factor. You're already given the story. What's gonna happen with the Elite? Maybe Adam Cole say, you piece of shit. Angle, get him out of here. And then you see, like, maybe then Kenny Omega becomes this baby face. We won't see Don Callis, maybe. We'll see. But at least it's something different. And then, like, if Miro would have won, it would have been really cool to see just Miro coming up. And okay, Hangman, this is your moment, but I'm coming after you. Maybe Eddie Kingston will be a believable challenger. I would like to see that. Maybe CM Punk. But we know now the first one is going to be Bryan Danielson. So, babyface against babyface, unless you said Hangman turns heel right away. That could be.
I would think Danielson maybe, but
or like you said, Danielson turns heel also. So they need to do a switch. But that's the beauty of this AEW that you said. At least they're presenting everything legit. So family, thank you so very much for being with us. Thank you. I hope we hope that we serve you well. And don't forget to please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and also give the video a like so more people are exposed to the original Rope Break. Where else can they find us?
And guys, make sure you follow us, Rope Break on Facebook, OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...